So NIO just finished a live stream announcing the market entry in Europe, specifically in Norway as the first country. So in this video I will give you a wrap up, the most important bits, and give you my comments on each of the sections where I think that's something important to note. So if you just woken up in the US or Canada or somewhere else, then this will be a good summary and give you my immediate thoughts and reactions about it. So first of all, this was around a 30-minute presentation. It was pretty professional in my views, somewhere between a Audi or BMW, Mercedes presentation, like very rehearsed, very professional, and very high quality, also with the imagery and so on. But at the same time, also giving you more of this newcomer and cool feeling to it. So my views, I think it was well done. Surely will resonate well with the European, the more premium audience here. But at the same time, they could have been even more relaxed about it in my views. And to give you the executive summary, basically they announced that they bring the full NIO ecosystem from China to Europe. That's what they're planning to do, announcing all of the different services and aspects of NIO to be introduced in Norway. And frankly, I think the presentation also showed that they have quite a bit work left to do. Now let's take a look at it.
Hei sann, hallois.
Hei!
God morgen.
Hallo!
Hei alle sammen.
My name is Jangir, and I will be your sales advisor and fellow here in Norway.
My name is VJ, and I'll be working as a UD specialist.
My name is Renate. I'll be lead NIO house specialist.
My name is Ola, and I'm a new NIO house specialist here in NIO Norway.
My name is Sadia, lead service advisor at NIO.
My name is Jon Christian. I'm a lead service technician here in Norway.
I'm really excited to work with you.
Welcome to NIO Oslo.
Hello everybody, god morgen Norway. Hello to NIO users, friends all over the world. I'm delighted that you have decided to join us today. Welcome to the presentation about NIO's entrance into the European market and more specifically Norway.
So I really liked the introduction video where they've shown the people already working on the ground in Norway. That really had a human and kind of, very friendly touch to it. So these kind of tidbits are really, I think important for the brand building also in Europe and having like the European faces, of course, the local faces. And I enjoy that much more than, for instance, the formal aspect of this presentation. Although Marius Heiler, the general manager here of NIO in Norway, he looks like a cool dude as well. And he brings lots of experience and standing from previous automotive jobs here to NIO. So they went on in the presentation and had kind of a forth and back between Norway and Shanghai. And I think this part with Li Bin was pretty cool. Really well done from the images, but mostly also, what we as NIO investors already know about the NIO car setup and so on. So they started off with showing the Eve, the concept car for autonomous driving. Kind of a bold move to start with this vision. That's what I really like about NIO. And I think the setup that they've chosen here looked really cool. A combination of a sleek modern design in the background and also having some of this ecological vibe with the sun shining, and you just have a slight touch of nature in the background. So Li Bin, he showed the entire lineup of the cars, and obviously they looked stunning and great, and especially the ET7 is such a well and stunning designed car, and you can really see in the face and the emotions by Li Bin here how proud he is to talk through this history of how many cars they already have produced, that it's not, just a startup and an idea, but really already have progressed into a much more mature car company here. And so we could see how Li Bin is really confident about what he is presenting here, and obviously also pointing out the online and user experience and all of the technology and innovation that NIO has developed over the year and now will bring into the Norwegian markets. Marius Heiler then went ahead and also not only talked about the products, the cars and so on, but introduced also the services, the society, the community features of NIO and those aspects and how they are working in China. kind of setting the stage for what's to come next in the presentation. Now, one interesting aspect of this presentation, I think, was the greeting by Christine Boo, like the Secretary General of the Norwegian EV Association, and she was welcoming NIO in Norway. And I think to give you a little bit of a context, I think this is what NIO has been preparing for years. They have built such kind of governmental relationships. I can say clearly that NIO has been very active here in Germany. Also, for instance, reaching out to not only politics, but also other industry stakeholders, for instance, suppliers, let's say Continental, Bosch, Infineon, and so on, but also the automotive industry associations and stuff like that. And now in this example here with Norway, it's obviously also, of course, they have the support from such kind of associations, but that's dating back to 2018 and so on. And that really shows you how well prepared NIO is in terms of, building those relationships, putting contracts into place, getting the necessary support and so on. So that's not really a rushed thing, but this has been in the works since years. And that will make NIO's market entry much more, I think, successful and maybe less risky in that regard, because having the support from such kind of associations will be key to winning the hearts in Europe, particularly when it comes to Germany later on, of course, because we have such a large stake in history of automotive companies here in Germany. And so, of course, if a new challenger is coming in, that needs to be well prepared. And then finally, the presentation got into the details of the exact stuff that is going to happen in Norway and what kind of aspects NIO brings over. So everything is geared towards September this year. They will start with one NIO house in Oslo, and they will hire around 50 people, or have already hired some of them, and that's going to be the team. Additionally to the NIO house, which obviously is this very important aspect of the NIO ecosystem, they also announced that they're going to build NIO spaces, actually 4 of them, in different parts of the country. So that was kind of the first surprise for me. I knew about the NIO house, which they're going to build, but then also bringing the tinier sales room, the NIO spaces, into different areas of the country is also interesting to see. Obviously, that's kind of bringing the entire sales network as we know it in China also to Europe, also with those tinier spaces, and that will help them to have more reach in different areas, but also to grow sales. And at this point of the planning, I think that was good to see that NIO is already thinking about that and actually planning with that, because that shows that they don't do it like really super tiny just with the NIO house, but already like in a kind of a minimal viable product, if you will, just for the NIO ecosystem itself. Then we had a really big question whether or not they're gonna bring battery swapping to Europe. And yes, they will with the battery swapping 2.0. They said they're gonna build 4 battery swapping 2.0 stations, the ones that are fully automatic, that have a capacity of around 300 cars per day, can hold 13 batteries, and the battery swapping process itself is only around 3 minutes. So I think it's good that they bring over this technology, because it's certainly one of the USP for NIO car owners. And well, of course, it will be a challenge to introduce that into Europe, because it means that they need to build their own infrastructure. But as you know, I'm a big fan of this technology because I think it offers so many rewards. And it's interesting to see that they don't shy away off having the cost of building this infrastructure also in Europe. And in my point of view, it makes them much more unique and much more desirable for those people who also want to buy into this swapping ecosystem. But before I said, I think NIO has lots of work to do. And I think it also has to do with this battery swapping station, because they mentioned they're going to have a European version of this battery swapping station. So I wonder what will be the differences. And also considering that the battery swapping station 2.0 has just been introduced in China, so they don't have a large experience or history with this new technology now. I'm wondering, like, how much do they still have work to do in order to finish kind of the European version? What will be different? And also what possibly could still go wrong there. But again, they're gonna build 4 of those battery swapping stations in different areas of the countryside. So this is really cool to see. And yeah, a big plus in my point of view. They also emphasized how they bring the entire NIO power ecosystem to Norway. And that means they also have a partner for up to 20,000 charging stations. I wonder whether or not they're also going to build their own charging stations. That would mean that they also need, some real estate or some partners where they can actually build up those such stations. But anyways, for now, they seem to be cooperating with the network. And now the super interesting part is that they will also bring the pickup service as well as the mobile charging service to Europe. And that is quite a surprise in my views, because that might be labor intensive, but in China this is super successful. It's also has kind of some Chinese characteristics. For instance, the valet service that somebody drives you home if you want to have a drink or something like that. He drives you home in your car. And also the mobile service that they if you just push the button in the app, then somebody comes and charges your car. Also actually working for other brands like Tesla cars in China. So that is quite surprising and interesting to see that they bring such kind of services also to Europe. But that really tells you that NIO focuses on their vision and the USPs here of having the most comprehensive service and the best user experience for electric vehicles in the market. And that fact also got stressed by the fact that they're gonna bring NIO service centers also into the country, 5 of them. And that just shows like how much they invest in the quality and the service in general, and that they don't take this market entry lightly. It's not just about shipping some cars overseas. And this also got clear when they talked about the models which they bring over to Norway. So first the ES8, of course, because that's the flagship model with the 100 kilowatt hour. But interestingly, they also said that it will have some localized adoption, so to the body frame and also to the charging port and such. So it's not that they just use some idle ES8, which they actually don't have, of course, but and then ship them to Europe or such. It's really a market entry that has been done from scratch, where they invested lots of time and also adoption and localization to it. So also Nomi, the digital voice assistant, and also NIO Pilot. And well, they didn't go too much into the specifics of that. Particularly, they didn't mention, as far as maybe I missed it, but as far as I saw it, they didn't mention that NIO is going to be in English and how well it will work and so on. They didn't show a prototype of that. So I would imagine that they're really busy in the background of doing that. They also didn't show much about NIO Pilot, how well will it work. We could only see from the partner screen that some interesting local partners like Google Maps and also Adyen for payment have been included. So I think maybe the software team might be very busy right now of kind of stitching the APIs together so that everything also works on a localized basis in English with local services, payment services that you are used to in Europe, obviously mapping and so on. And I do know from the Munich office and the cars which they have there that the NIO Pilot is kind of working even in a German context and environment, even though it's relying on Baidu Maps. But it seems like the technology is there, and then maybe they can have some workarounds on all of those other aspects. But it should be quite challenging when it comes to the ET7 and its autonomous technology to also bring that not only to China in 2022, but also to the European markets, and then obviously also in English and with local maps if they depend on it and so on. I don't know about the specifics of that yet because it hasn't been unveiled. We just heard in the earnings call that NIO thinks they are on schedule, that they can do that, and that there are certainly still some challenges around it. But just from those announcements today and the earnings call, I think, well, NIO is, kind of going bold here. I'm quite confident about what they can do. And that might be one of those tricky parts to watch, because that could kind of disappoint if it's not well done in the first place. So before I move on and talk about what they said about the NIO users and so on, we're gonna have to watch this video about the part of the ES8 in full, because I really start to love those videos in which Chris Thomasson appears and narrates them, the vice president of design of NIO Munich, because it really has this Johnny Ive of Apple-like feeling to it.
When we started to work on the ES8, we were always striving for a high-end premium experience for our discerning users. The vision of our SUV flagship was to develop an electric SUV that is leading in its class from a design, comfort, and technological perspective. With ES8, we introduced the cabin concept idea of a mobile living space. The user should feel at home on the go. But especially on long-distance travel, this car satisfies all the user needs with comfort and interior innovations. One of my favorites, the lounge seat, with massage function that comes as standard.
这里是合肥江淮未来先进制造基地，在这里生产我们未来的各个车型，包括 ES8。这里是一座全新的高端智能电动汽车制造基地，自动化率达到97.5%。在这里，我们已经生产了10万多台高品质电动汽车。为了给大家带来更好的使用体验，我们对 ES8 的充电口和车身结构基于欧洲使用场景进行了优化。就在不久的后的6月，我们交付挪威用户的 ES8 就将在这里下线，准备起航。最后，我们非常希望尽快与大家分享 ES8 的驾驶体验，并欢迎给予反馈和建议。
You can see the purity of our design language when you look at the side profile of the ES8 or the air vent design. The progressiveness is expressed in our signature LED heartbeat tail lamp and the front row cabin concept as a whole, where we implemented our most innovative ideas. The sophistication we strive for in design is visible and tangible in the choice of materials and craftsmanship of the interior as well as in the exterior design, the silhouette of a high-end premium electric SUV. And last but not least, we want to design products that are human-centered. Even a high-tech AI feature like Nomi, the in-car voice assistant and digital companion. We gave it a human-like expression to make it more relatable, and more useful features that transform the in-car interaction and driving experience.
We also want to ensure that Nomi and our other essential digital components are always up to date, so our users can benefit from the latest firmware and software innovations. Like your mobile phone, NIO upgrades are automatic, done at night or while you're away from your car. It is truly a hassle-free user experience.
This is a car for every occasion. No horizon is out of reach for our user.
So yeah, I really love this kind of footage, and well, I also love the announcement around the NIO advisory board. So they're kind of calling Norwegian users to contact them and become part of the user lifestyle of NIO, which they also want to transfer from China to Europe. And that will be a really difficult thing to do because, well, there is no such kind of history where a Chinese company has built up such a strong relation to their customers. But it's great to see because this is one of the key aspects. If you heard about what Li Bin is doing or saying during the earnings call about the user enterprise, that there is no other car company which combines the product, the technology, the user experience, the service, and the community. So that is the key aspect of why NIO is different than others and why NIO is a successful premium brand. And now we should get excited about what this means in Europe and how well this works, of getting also the user base excited. Of course, in China we have, for instance, volunteers. We have everything that's happening in the NIO app, and I'm really looking forward whether or not they manage to do the same thing. And maybe very soon we get kind of a first notion of that, because this is the NIO entrance timeline. So first in July they already start with launching the NIO app, possibly, well, of course in English, and then having maybe some teasers with the ES8 test drives with cars in Norway already, and then everything is aimed for September for deliveries for the NIO house in Oslo, the NIO service center, the swap station. That will be exciting, and then much more coming up in 2020 with expansion. And all of that looks like a sound plan to me, a very ambitious plan as well, because I think that, as I mentioned before, in the background, I think they have lots of work to do. For instance, now you also saw the partnering with AWS. So the cloud services also may have to migrate it to AWS platform. I'm sure they're not using that one in China. And so, well, lots of uncertainties around how well that will work in Europe. But overall, it's giving me a good impression of not only the presentation today, but also the way they have structured it and their approach of bringing the entire NIO ecosystem to Europe. That's the big rollout, a really bold move. But if that's successful, and I personally think it will be successful, then that's going to be a big bang. And it's also smart that they do that in Norway, where EV adoption has been high. There will be no import taxes for importing the car, so that's also lean in the very beginning of testing the market out without having the trouble of price differentiation because of taxes and stuff like that. And maybe in the future, I always have this thought that they may at some point also have local manufacturing capacity, maybe with a partner in Europe, maybe some empty factories which they can utilize with a local partner. That would be cool to see. But that's definitely far out, but definitely would also fit well to NIO's business model and also NIO's approach there. Because frankly, yes, in summary, we see that this will be an kind of an expensive market entry, right? They are not shying away from having the cost of investing really in this market entry. So yeah, on the cost side, that might be heavy in the first place. But if you see, like, NIO doesn't have to invest, for instance, in its own factory now with this announcement of the NIO Park. And so NIO, where they can spend the money really is sales expansion and upgrading their services, having the highest quality of this entire ecosystem. And that's really what NIO is all about. Let's see if they will be successful with that in Europe. Maybe there are some opportunities for you guys and for me to actually go there and to maybe become part of this, user trust. Maybe we can help them to kind of improve what we would like to see in the app and also, build this community here ourselves. So definitely want to hear more about what you think about this presentation and also what you would like to see NIO doing in Europe and whether or not you would be interested in becoming part of this community and so on. And so let me know down in the comments. Please smash the like button if you enjoyed this summary, and then see you in the next presentation.